losing the 2023 Assembly elections, BRS is witnessing defections from the party. While some BRS leaders are preferring to join BJP, others are joining in Congress. BRS has received a severe setback with Kadiyam Srihari and his daughter Kavya joining Congress. Despite getting a ticket to contest as MP, Kavya has chosen to join Congress along with her father. This shows how the foundation of BRS is crumbling. What led to the downfall of BRS? BJP spokesperson Kishore Poreddy and senior journalist Balasubramaniam Pulipaka will discuss about it in today's episode of Beyond the Headlines.
One of the things that's caught attention, in the last few days is what's going on in the BRS in Telangana. The party is in trouble. That's evident for everybody, to everyone. And why exactly is this happening? Imagine a time, I don't think there was ever a time when a person was promised a party ticket in the elections and the person runs away and joins another party and gets a ticket from there. Similarly, a person is given a ticket and 2 days later says, I'm not going to contest on this party's ticket because there's a lot of opposition to this party. And I'm sure the same knowledge existed with that person 2 days ago, 2 days previously too. I'm talking about what Aruri Ramesh did, of the BRS leader. He was assured a party ticket. He went and joined another party and got a ticket from there. Similar was with Kadiyam Srihari's daughter. She got the party ticket. And 2 days later, she sends an extremely damaging letter to the BRS president, Chandrasekhar Rao, and says, I cannot contest on this party ticket because of these problems. We'll talk about what these problems are what the things she highlighted. Today we want to try and get to the bottom of this. Why are these kind of things happening? It's quite normal during elections or in the run-up to the elections for leaders to switch parties. Maybe somebody is not getting a ticket somewhere and somebody is upset with the party leadership for some other reason, or maybe they just want to, teach a lesson to someone else in that party and say, I'm going to show you what your place is. Those are the kind of reasons we have seen. But this is something new, something not familiar to many people. And trying to dive into this is what we're going to do today. So Kishore, what do you think is happening with BRS?
As you said just now, as you mentioned, Bala, this is unprecedented, right? Unprecedented. Parties lose elections, parties win elections. Especially in Telangana or in the formerly United Andhra Pradesh, we have seen Congress and TDP slug it out at election time. Elections happen and then someone wins, someone loses. The losing party plays the role of an opposition in the assembly until the next elections. Right? But this time, the very first time that BRS lost after a 10-year rule in the freshly formed state of Telangana, right? They were in power from the day one. Telangana came into this thing, and only recently they lost. They did not lose it like, what happened, what used to happen earlier in Tamil Nadu. The pendulum always used to shift. There used to be only one person from AIDMK, the rest of them from, extreme swings, right? It wasn't that way as well. They had a respectable 39 MLAs. Right, 39 MLAs, and they only lost with around 2% vote share. I think they hardly a couple of percentage, less than a couple of percentage difference in vote share with the Congress. That's all. Congress got 64, they got 39, right? So it was a respectable performance. Yet, a couple of months after the elections, today, if you look at the BRS, it seems like, many people, you have mentioned a couple of them, others had left even prior to that.
I took these two names because these are the latest
very
ones
interesting.
and they're in the, they're on top of...
there's something very interesting happened.
Agenda too.
Exactly. So, you look at the Nagar Kurnool BJP candidate, you look at the Zahirabad BJP candidate, they're both from They are
Yes.
existing MPs, right, of the current Lok Sabha. They have shifted to the BJP and then taken tickets from the
Similar is the
BJP.
BRS MLA and
Exactly.
MP from
And
Chevilla who
compare
went to
this.
Congress.
And compare this. Yes, exactly. The Chevilla MP,
Ranjit Reddy.
Ranjit, he moved to the Congress, right, from BRS. So, on top of it, the Aruri Ramesh case, I mean, the Warangal one, was where he was assured a ticket. He did not want to contest on it. He came to the BJP,
Right.
and he's turning on the
Right.
BJP
He got
ticket
the
right
ticket,
now,
right.
right? And the Kadiyam Kavya one is even more interesting. She took the ticket, I mean, which Aruri Ramesh was offered earlier, but since he declined to contest,
Right.
and then Kadiyam Srihari, you know, is a very senior leader, had been a deputy chief minister in the BRS government as well. So he was asked to, I think, contest, but he's an MLA currently. So
He's
his
always
daughter,
wanted- he's wanted his daughter to
contest.
get
So
into
his
politics
daughter
all the time.
came in, right? And then she took the ticket, went to the ground. 3 days later, as you said, wrote a damning letter saying, because of so and so reasons, I mean, I cannot defend BRS anymore. And then she shifted in a couple of days, got the Congress ticket, and now she's the Congress candidate, right? So what you see here is not just the MP candidates thing. I mean, there is also a lot of MLAs going and meeting. I mean, Danam Nagendra case, right? The other
Right.
one. He is an MLA. He went to the Congress, joined the Congress, and took the ticket, MP ticket from Secunderabad. So, an existing MLA changes parties, takes the MP ticket from Congress. Right? You see all of this, it's not just the MPs whose term has expired almost like another month or so, but even the MLAs.
Not to forget Mr. Keshav Rao.
Kishore is
Secretary
serious.
General of
Exactly.
BRS, who is in
Exactly.
Rajya Sabha right
So
now.
all of this and the MLAs themselves going and meeting Revant Reddy, and Revant Reddy saying, if you open the gates, see, it is not that we have to attract them. They're already knocking our doors. They are actually pushing our gates. We haven't opened them. The moment we open them, entire BRS is going to become empty. Right? So why this situation? I mean, I have not seen this with ADMK. We have not seen this with TDP. We have not seen this with maybe even RJDs of the world. And, you know, I mean, so many other parties, the SP, right? So many other parties across the LDF, UDF parties in Kerala. Right? We have not seen this happening. But why with BRS? That's what, I mean...
That is the question. Why
Started
with
me
BRS?
thinking. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, what I thought was, I mean, I concluded at the end of all the analysis, I mean, whatever I had to, I mean, I was trying to take examples of other states where this could have happened earlier and all that. One loss and a few months later and you're in the doldrums. I mean, nobody wants to own up your party. Even the MLAs and MPs want to, I mean, crash your gates and then get out, not to get in, but to get out. So why this? I think one fundamental thing is when parties come up based on a specific agenda, based on a cause, because the BRS says it's a movement party, Udyama party, right? That means it's based on a movement for a cause, right? That's what the BRS was. I mean, it was actually called the TRS, right? The Telangana Rashtra Samiti. So the aim was to was achieving a separate Telangana state. And then achieving that particular state was so that, I mean, the Andhra rulers earlier, this thing, they have neglected Telangana, we gain control over our own resources. So Telangana will get a fair chance at development if Telangana forms a separate state and the Telangana guy is ruling Telangana instead of I mean, the 50 years, 70 years, whatever we have seen, is mostly the Andhra leaders having much more 60 more than, years, more the Andhra leaders becoming chief ministers and neglecting Telangana. That's the that was the logic behind it. And yes, we got Telangana. The first part is achieved. And people thanked TRS for the role Chandrasekhar Rao and their parties played in the entire agitation. Their role, they rewarded him too. But I think at the end of 10 years, what the people have felt is that the Andhra rulers, that's what is to call them, right? The Andhra rulers, which is chief ministers from born in Andhra Pradesh, regions of Andhra Pradesh. Some of them have their entire families and residences here, but they were
for all practical
so
purposes,
practical, their native place is considered to be there, right? So they were actually siphoning of resources from Telangana, like water, funds, right? Like Hyderabad is a huge revenue generating ecosystem, and then you would take money from here and put it there. And for irrigation also, you would favor projects in Andhra than in Telangana, right? And jobs. In jobs also, I mean, Andhra, people from Andhra are getting a greater share, more than their fairer share in the government jobs is the other one, right? All of these things. So the Andhra rulers were taking, were neglecting Telangana and making their region richer. That's the argument. Right? More prosperous.
Right.
So, by the end of 10 years, what the Telangana people have realized it, instead of the Andhra rulers, now we got a Telangana ruler, I mean, a guy from Telangana. But seems to be the looting is still continuing. The disadvantage is still continuing. Instead of the region, Andhra region, instead of diverting all these resources to Andhra region, it looks like we are diverting, one family has benefited. Instead of Andhra region benefiting from Telangana, now from Telangana, only one family, that is KCR and his family and his relatives and his party and their MLAs, in that order.
Right.
They have benefited instead of Telangana people. Because we said Neelu, Nidulu, Niyamakalu. Water, funds, and jobs. By the end of 10 years, KCR has got Telangana to a stage where in the name of water, he spent lakhs of crores, Nidulu, right? The funds, he spent lakhs of crores making the coffers empty and turned the state into a debt-ridden, like 6 lakh crore, 7 lakh crore worth of debts, right? Into such a position that the coffers are so empty that he is unable to pay even current employees, so the jobs never came. So in the name of water, looted Telangana, made the coffers empty and pushed it into such a financial crisis that it could not give any jobs. So that was the premise, right? These three things: water, funds, and jobs. On these three things, people felt that KCR had failed them. Not only that, but when they look at them, right, they see all these family, especially the first family and the BRS MLAs, becoming filthy rich over the same period. While the public coffers are empty, the private persons associated with KCR, his family, his relatives, and the entire thing. So, what this is, but corruption is common, right? In India, we have seen so many states, so many places. But here is the thing. What people perceived is, this is a party that arose for a cause. It's a movement party. And that is the benefit of Telangana. But instead of benefiting Telangana, he actually betrayed the cause of Telangana. That's what they felt. And instead of benefiting Telangana, his family, his whatever, they are the beneficiaries of finally the Telangana new statehood. And the people, he betrayed the cause for which the party came into power. Okay. And this KCR himself agreed. See, we are no longer a movement party.
Yeah.
We have now turned into a faktu Rajakiya party. That means purely political party that is after power.
Right.
So he abandoned the cause, he betrayed the cause, and he himself declared that, see, now we are just a regular party. And the change in the name also symbolized that.
Yeah,
from Telangana Rashtra Samiti, he went to Bharat Rashtra Samiti.
In fact, I was, that's one of the points I wanted to.
So I think when movement parties, when parties based on a particular cause, right, when based on a particular ideology, they raise based on that particular ideology or cause, and then they betray that very particular ideology or cause, people feel there is no longer any need for that party. Let's say the communists. The communists live the communist ideology, Marxist, Leninist, whatever you call it, right? And they embrace free market ideology tomorrow. And they are huge champions of free market economics, globalization and liberalization, let us say. What would happen? The communists will survive in China,
right,
because they have done all of these things. in China. But because there is no alternative, there is a single party system. But in India, people would say, hey, this is not communist ideology. I mean, whoever are with you, with the communist parties, or those who like the communist ideology, or those who bought into the communist ideology. Now the party itself, CPI, let us say, or CPM, let us say, tomorrow does a 180-degree U-turn and say, now we subscribe to an exactly opposite ideology, then all those followers are going to instantly leave them. Right? So this is what, I mean, when a party is based on, see, let's say Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin,
Right.
the MIM, the All India MIM, let us say, AIMIM. Now, instead of the Muslim cause, they start harping on something called Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Then is there a need for MIM anymore? Then you could as well go with the BJP, which says Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. See, yesterday too, the Ansari, Mukhtar Ansari, right? The guy died at the age of 60 due to heart attack, while in a jail, and he was, I mean, there were 60 cases pending against him, most heinous of crimes, right? Most heinous of crimes, right? Murders. He ran a reign of terror. And you will see Asaduddin Owaisi, a video today. I mean, I was on Twitter, and with the family and everything else there, right? So you have to cater to your constituency, whether it is legal, illegal, whether the guy was a gunda, whether the guy was a mobster, mafia, whatever it is. See, your constituency expects identity politics, and he has to play the identity politics.
But doesn't that hold good for even BJP or?
Identity politics is what I'm saying. The communists, doesn't it hold good for the communists? Yes, but people know where you are, where your loyalties are. Now you do a 180 degrees on those loyalties. This is not what people had expected, and this is what exactly happened with TRS. Like tomorrow, let's say the DMK, all this Dravidian thing and Periyarist ideology, they abandon all of that stuff. So the people who are with them currently are the ones who bought into that. Right. So the moment these guys abandon that, they feel, hey, this is not what we subscribe to, and they run. I mean, and people leave. So here, the leaders in the TRS have realized that the people, I mean, feel that they have abandoned the cause. They have now become another pure political party after power.
Well, I mean, he declared it, right?
Yeah, he declared it too. And they have become not only that, but on top of it, they betrayed the cause by, instead of actually benefiting Telangana, they benefited themselves more. So that betrayal makes it more hurting, right, for the voters. So I think the leaders within the BRS have realized that. And they now feel that there's no more hope. And on top of it, of course, I mean, KCR, it's not like other parties where, I mean, you can survive. I mean, even the Congress at a national level, it's a family party, you'll have Rahul Gandhi and all that stuff. But in the states, it's slightly more liberal, you could say, right? You could survive with one of the big guns. I mean, even hurting the feelings of one of the big guns, challenging a big gun in Telangana also. I mean, there are so many of them in Telangana. Even then, one could survive in the party. But at national level, you could not, because there is only one guy at the top. But I mean, KCR is like that. It's a family party at the end of the day. And then the credibility of the founder or the family itself is lost. And as long as you are a pure political party, pure politicians who are just after power tend to come to you. And the moment they realize that the family is no longer able to win elections for you, there's no more reason for them to stay. And there's also one interesting thing. I mean, I will come to that later. But what I thought was betraying the cause, right? Mm-hmm. A cause gives you, I mean, NTR came to power riding the Andhra Atmabhimanam, the self-respect of Andhras, because the Delhi, Indira Gandhi used to change chief ministers like someone would change shirts in Telangana without, I mean, chief ministers' names used to come and seal the covers, and they had to open it, see the name, and then hail that decision and make him the chief minister. That was how it was. I mean, the Telugu guys had no role in electing their chief minister. So NTR came on the promise of self-respect, and he never reneged on that, right? So TDP continues. But you look at AAP today, there's a eerie parallel between the BRS and the AAP. AAP came to power in no time actually. In one of the short, just like the TDP, it came to power within months after forming the government, less than 2 years, maybe even around a year, I think.
I think nobody can beat the
NTR's
record.
Yes, exactly. They were a few months more than NTR, I think. That's it. And they were riding the anti-corruption, India against corruption, all of that movement. The Congress government of the UPA government was looked at as the most corrupt ever. It was at that time. And he came to power in Delhi claiming to be the clean party, claiming to fight against corruption. And 10 years later, see, they could have made mistakes on so many other things. If they had gone wrong, people would have still condoned them. But you came up as an anti-corruption party, and now you are stuck. The chief minister, the deputy chief minister, another minister, they're all in jail right now. I mean, they're arrested and in custody right now. So some of them for more than a year, right? And the corruption seems to be, I mean, you look at all those reports, remand reports and all of that. There seems to be, people feel there is a credible case of corruption, and this is not expected from us. See, another party could be equally corrupt. But someone who says, because we did not expect this from you, kind of thing. They rose based on a cause. They took up a cause and they betrayed that cause. And I feel the same is going to happen with UP. It is going to implode equally. So this is the danger. And that is why most parties like the MIM, like the DMK I was talking about, like the communists, times change, right? And though India is progressing, your state is progressing and all of that stuff, and your own ideology might not be received as well today as it was received when you first started it. But most political parties do not abandon their ideology, right? Not only the ideas, but their consciences. Like, for example, look at the RJD, look at the SP, right? The Yadav Muslim combination, MY combination. If those two parties just one day suddenly drop the other Muslim combination and say, hey, we'll also do a sabka saath, sabka vikas, then I think their MLAs and MPs would also abandon their ship and move into another party whose original credentials. That's why it is important for parties. See, as times change, they are unable to adjust and they wither away. But like the BRS and these things, if you take up a cause, because India itself is changing or their states themselves are changing, they slowly lose relevance. But here, you came up based on a movement or a cause, and you are seen as betraying that cause. This is an implosion. It happens very rapidly. Those things happen very slowly. So it is important for any parties. I mean, even BJP has an ideology, right? BJP has an idea. It is important that those ideologies have to be pluralistic, expansive enough.
Mm-hmm.
Expansive enough, so that and a continuous reinterpretation of that can happen. It gives you that maneuverability of continuous reinterpretation with the times. So you have a broad-based ideology that's sustainable and that is more of time-tested. I mean, it's based on certain ethos, right? Certain ethos, certain value systems. Then I think those parties will find it easier to actually move with the times than some fossilized ideologies or consciences that you pick on, or some movements and for causes which you can never deliver on. Actually, you are going to betray. Those are all gonna.
So these could probably
these are all the
be
dangers.
very good case studies for the other regional parties.
Certainly.
What not to do.
What not to do.
The neighborhood. The neighborhood. Practically a neighbor now.
Yes.
DMK there or somebody else. Some other parties there.
But there is a danger. Well, see, they might learn from this that you cannot abandon your consciency, not abandon your cause, right? That is how the BRS and the AAP imploded, let us say. Or even the Jammu Kashmir, in Jammu, you have a couple of parties, right? So the Abdullahs and the Muftis.
The National Conference.
Yes. So they might all learn that lesson. But it's like a situation like Mundu Nuyi Venuka Goyi, they say in Telugu. Devil and the deep sea. You are stuck in between the devil and the deep sea. See, with the changing circumstances in Jammu and Kashmir, you can't hold on to the earlier ideas, but you abandon the earlier ideas all of a sudden. Then you are seen as a betrayer and then you lose. Either way you lose. Either you implode all of a sudden or you wither away. The same thing is going to happen with DMK as well. It might not implode if it does not abandon the cause, but it will wither away. But if it, see, because India is changing, you have to readjust. If there are smart enough guys, they will take their time, but slowly attune to India. That is Bharat.
Still maintain
I mean,
the
wherever India is going, we have to. Yeah, it takes, but it's a very tough task. Very tough task. I mean, just like, long-term investments, right? If people ask you for long-term investments versus immediate returns, people tend to not invest as much in the longer-term thing unless you have that patience, you have that far-sightedness, you're driven by something, right? Unless you have all of those kind of things, it is very difficult. So to take your cadre, your other leaders along with you and all of that stuff. So, yeah, once again.
Regional aspirations have always had their place.
Yeah,
regional aspirations, and rightly so.
Rightly so. See, even caste aspirations, regional aspirations, religious aspirations, all of these things have their place, right? And that's why political parties based on caste, political parties based on regions, all of these came up, right? I mean, democracy throws them up because there was a need for them at that time, or there was a need which supposedly these parties could have best solved at that particular time because there were no alternatives.
This is an interesting question. We'll make it the last question for this one. Do you think there is room? See, nature abhors vacuum.
Yes.
If TRS is imploded, TRS/BRS has imploded, and if it does really wither away on top of it, somebody has to take that space.
Yes.
Right. Is there room for a new regional or a refurbished or a reorganized or a recast regional party?
Yeah.
Or a group or an entity in Telangana?
Yeah, very interesting question and very relevant question too, because I foresee the BRS, withering away pretty soon, right? Imploding and withering away. So there are two things that can happen. We know there is only place for two, usually either in business or in politics too. You look at Tamil Nadu, DMK, LDF, UDF there. Even in Delhi, if you look at it, it was Congress, BJP, and for up to raise, Congress had to go down. So it will always be two people, two parties, two poles that will be significant. Third, fourth position, whoever they are in those positions, they have to, it's a struggle for them, right? You can even think of Pepsi and Coke, Android and iOS, Airbus and Boeing. Right? It's always bipolar. For short periods, it could be it could be a monopoly, and for short periods, also it could be like a cacophony of 4 or 5 people striving, like our telecom revolution when it first started. Finally, it landed up with Airtel and Jio, right? So now, if the BRS goes away, there are two things. The obvious thing is that BJP takes that position. It will become Congress versus BJP, right? Because the BJP has been, of late, since the Telangana's formation, there has been growing interest in the state, right? Look at the growing acceptance, or BJP too has come out of the alliances with TDP, where it was a junior partner. So it is now recognized as a statewide party, state party, has a presence all over the state. And it is also doing, because I am a BJP spokesperson, I would say, we have also done a tremendous lot of work in the state, right? On behalf of the people, for their, this thing. So, I think the default would be that BJP would occupy that space. It would become Congress versus.
Oh, that would be BJP's wish.
Let us say, because I am from the party, when I'm analyzing things, you would say, that would be certainly my wish, but also that's the default possibility because it's a default. I'm not saying the default, it can happen, right? The other things can also happen. But let us examine this case of a regional party. Yes, there is certainly, I mean, you can never say never for anything. So there is always a possibility that someone can come. But what is it that the people of Telangana are looking? So if you take up the Telangana cause, a regional party, regional cause, you will be compared with BRS.
Right.
You will be compared with BRS. So how are you better than BRS? How are you going to? And who do we trust? Is it going to be formed by the same old leaders who were in that earlier party? Like, for example, people might say, one of the leaders within the BRS can come split the party, take all the MLAs, and just leave the family because they are too tarnished now. People think they are too tarnished. So, take them and then form a party. See, in those kind of scenarios, right? But isn't the entire base of the BRS also kind of tarnished with the same brush as the first family? So, you need a fresh face. You need a fresh face that can be credible, and all of those in the BRS, right? Those who said they fought for Telangana statehood, or those who were opposing the Telangana statehood and still then joined BRS because it became a pure political party only after power kind of a thing. All of those, I don't think they would have any much more credibility than what KCR himself has on those agenda. So they'll have to find an agenda first of all. Whoever wants to set up a political party, they'll have to find an agenda. Second thing is they'll also have to find a face. Especially when you are just, I mean, national parties can afford to say, hey, you know, it is the party. Because we have a track record, we are doing this, we are doing that, and our legislature party will finally decide who is the leader, right? But regional parties, especially those that are right now emerging, you need to have
A face.
a fresh face, right? And today, in today's politics, I mean, you look at Congress, nobody is going to come out and start a regional party, I guess, because they are in power right now. And in the BRS, anyone who comes out and says they will start a regional party after 10 years of the BRS rule and being in power, and
They're not going to get much purchase.
They're not going to get much purchase, nor are they going to be believed, basically. And I don't think there's a cause to at this moment, a big cause like the separate statehood formation or the earlier self-respect of Telugus kind of a thing. I don't see, maybe the farming crisis, other things, there might be a few of them. But at this point, that can give this thing. Of course, it also depends on the BJP, the default option.
Okay.
How well it takes advantage of the situation, right? Or it does not take advantage. Theoretical possibility I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, let's
So
have
that's it.
one
Yeah.
last fun question. Okay. Warangal,
Yeah.
the Warangal Lok Sabha constituency and the election coming up.
Yeah.
You have two candidates.
Yeah.
One of them is yours, BJP's.
I understand. I got your question.
Who are in the BRS.
Yes.
How do you think that's going to play out?
So you are saying there are two candidates from two parties.
Yes.
And the third party has become irrelevant because candidates have left that party, not taken the ticket, right?
See,
or even given back the ticket. So
Right.
BRS is out of the equation.
As of now,
it is a fight.
until they announce a candidate. They
It is
haven't
a
yet
fight
announced a
between,
candidate.
even if they announce, I would say if two candidates have not taken your ticket, already the message is out, right? And, I mean, in the trying to be fair, we don't have to give them. See, so it will be BJP versus Congress. Let us say.
But they both come from the BRS.
Both of them come from the BRS. See,
It's-
now
it's
who do
very
you vote? Is it
interesting.
not the BRS guy who is going to win? No.
Right.
One second.
Right.
What causes are the voters going to
Vote for.
support if they vote for Ramesh versus Kavya? Right? That's the question. So, were they earlier? Both of them were in BRS. That is not the point. But if you vote for Aruri Ramesh Garu, then you are voting for Modi and the BJP. And everyone knows what are the causes that they are after. I mean, they have been after the same causes, 1951 to now, Article 370, right? Even the Uniform Civil Code, Ram Janmabhoomi later on. All of these are the same causes and it's the same thread. We just talked about having that thread, the ideology or some amount of this thing. So it is all based on that. So Aruri Ramesh vote is going to strengthen Modi and the BJP and that particular this thing. And it's also going to strengthen Telangana because you have one more MP from the state who will be from the party in power at the center. I'm confident that we are going to come to power the third time, and that Modi is going to be the prime minister for the third time. So he will be from that party. Now you have the same someone who has come from, let us say, BRS. You have two choices, right? Both of them, I mean, now you have from the Congress side,
Right.
and he'll be part of the Indie Alliance,
Right.
where nobody knows who is going to be the prime minister, even if they win, and nobody is even sure that Congress, the principal constituent of the India Alliance, is going to make the leader of the opposition position by itself this time, right? I mean, both times, last two times, they did not even get 10% of the MP seats. 543, they need to get 55, right? They did not get. So, but of course, the BJP government had included them, like the CBI director's appointment and all of that. Though they were not they did not win the leader of the opposition position. I mean, they were not, it was not a right for them to this thing, but still they were given that, right? That leader of the opposition position. BJP government did that. So we are not sure they would get past that 55 even this time. So that is the kind of situation. So if a Congress MP from Warangal, if you vote for a Congress MP from Warangal, you would be a member of a party which does not have too much strength in the parliament, and they're not in power. And the ideology difference. There is always a clear ideological difference. I mean, Arun Ramesh Garu coming into BJP or Kadiyam Kavya Garu going into Congress is not going to shift either BJP's or the Congress ideological these things. People know very well these two national parties and where each of them stands on various issues, what their performance has been. So I think
So it's
still
mostly,
clear.
it's
Yeah.
likely
it's
to
more
be
a party choice.
about a party choice
Yes.
than a candidate
Yes.
choice.
Yeah.
But I think it's still going to be a interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, certainly.
How they're going to talk about the BRS at all, if at all they're going to talk
So
about
I
the
think
BRS.
Kadiyam Kavya Garu already made it very clear with all the scandals, especially the phone tapping scandal, where, I mean, you read in the newspapers that women not involved with politics were also tapped, and their private
Well,
lives
even if those who
invaded.
were involved in politics, that itself
See,
is
I mean,
illegal, you know.
Illegal is one thing,
Right.
but here the morality of the, I mean, how it is perceived by people. See, one politician spies on the other politician, people might think, let the politician spy on each of them. Maybe we get to know a little bit more about them and they expose each other. That's even better, right? People do not actually, I mean, except they are your followers or whatever it is. There is some amount of, okay, in politics, you got into politics knowing very well that you have to face these kind of situations. But innocent women who did not have anything to do with these things because they were wives of somebody or they were celebrities or whatever it is, and you snoop on them and most private of the details and destroy their lives, kind of a thing. I mean, it's very salacious kind of activity, you would say. I mean, that is unpardonable. I mean, that's how the society, I mean, especially women feel, right? That's the kind of thing that you cannot condone. True. So Kavya being a woman especially, and more of these details coming out within after 2-3 days of she taking the ticket as well. I think she put it very clearly in 2 lines. She said, it is indefensible. The position of BRS is indefensible. And I'm sure the entire Telangana, I mean, the voters of Telangana are thinking the same thing. I mean, their acts are unpardonable. It's not just that Kaleshwaram thing where it has come to, I mean, after spending 1 lakh crores, right, and taking decisions without, I mean, proper study, various things, you know, the National Dam Safety Authority, whatever it said about the shrinking of Medigate piers, you and I very well have discussed that earlier. So, all of these things, one on top of the other, I think that is why, though they had, just 4 months back, they had only 2% difference from the winning party and 39 seats in the assembly. It looks like there's no one going, it looks like that the party will be empty within a few weeks and only the family will remain in the party. That's how dire it has become because of these other scandals that have come out. post the elections as well. And finally, there is that feeling that it's a movement party which has betrayed the movement, right? I mean,
the moment they changed to BRS, I think they lost a lot of purchase on the ground.
Yeah.
Even though the party talks about it.
Exactly.
But people in the party.
Yeah, people in the party. Yeah, I mean, they actually gripe about it or whatever. Yeah, saying, I mean, KCR did this unilaterally. We have all warned him not to do this, but he did not listen to us. He said, BRS, we'll go national and all of that stuff. And today, see, we have lost because of that particular decision. That's what. But that is not just the renaming of the party that has done it, right? He betrayed the cause on which BRS was built.
Yeah, the core
TRS was built. Yeah, the core principles. Yeah, the core cause, the core movement.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of Telangana, I mean, someone who had fought for Telangana, it's like, they keep talking about Telangana Bapu, right? I mean, at least the BRS people, they say KCR is Telangana Bapu, the father of the Telangana state.
Right.
Now imagine Mahatma Gandhi, who you call father of the nation, popularly called the father of the nation. Now imagine he taking over power post-independence and his family getting like filthy rich in the next decade or so.
Right.
Can you imagine that? That is exactly what happened in Telangana. That's why it's imploding right now. And I think AAP also will face a similar scenario.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, for that very reason.
Okay. That was interesting. Getting your point of view on implosions.
Thank you.
And see, the thing is, implosions are not spectacular. They're not like those nuclear fissions that go off, setting off a huge fireball and things like that. These happen very silently, very quietly. And before you realize, something that was there is no longer there.
Yep.
So, thank you, Kishore.
Thank you. Thank you, Balu.
And,
Thanks for having me. Yeah, once again.
And to the viewers, please keep watching Nationalist Hub. We'll be back with more such conversations. Thank you.